Hello guys, and welcome back to episode 19 of Minecraft Castles and Cities. I've been putting off this one for a while because it is my biggest and most detailed project. It is Newport, the capital of Tretogor province. I've shown you a lot of little bits of this world already. Over there is Marsh Castle, we had an episode on that. Just north of here is Anchorage. I have a new project going on right now, just over the sea, called New Gedham, or at least that's the current project name. And I want to take you through the city. Unless I want this video to be an hour long and a nightmare to edit, I'm going to have to cut some stuff out. And I'm also going to make this kind of a two-parter. So there is the city itself, with the docks that you're seeing here and all these ships. That's New Gedham in the distance. And as well, there is a sewer area. And I'm going to save the sewer area for another video because I just don't think I can tackle it all at this point. Before we get into it, I'm giving you a little fly around here so we can see that there are tons of these huge merchant ships in the water around in the water around Newport, as well as fishing ships. And if we come around to this side of the city, there is also a cemetery. Because the people are not buried within the walls. Very slight content warning. I'm going to talk about death a little bit, especially at the beginning here. So if you don't want to see that, just skip a couple minutes. But starting off here, we are coming into the only land gate of Newport. So the first thing you see when you're coming in is that on one side, you have the inn and tavern here, the Three Wolves. I'll explain why when we go inside. And on the other side here, we have the gallows. So it's pretty grim, but essentially we have three dead villagers here that are all being hanged. The way that I did this is basically there are barrier blocks here with invisible chickens, and the invisible chickens are tied to these leads. And the villagers here have no AI and they're facing downward. So it basically looks like they have been hanged. I'm going to take you inside here briefly. So we have a good stables here, as all inns should have. There is a small garden. And if we come into here, we can see that there is a common hall. So here we have a bunch of wolf heads. This is the Three Wolves Tavern and Inn, of course. We have a chimney here and a nice sunny room just overlooking the gardens. You can see there's all sorts of nice candles and bottles everywhere. Apologies for the lag. I'm doing this with shaders and it's a really big city with a lot of item frames and stuff. And I'll show you that when I do these sewer episodes. But just to come down here briefly, we have a kitchen with some pretty basic kind of rooms. And we have a very nice chimney design here. So it's a mix of walls and stairs. And then in here we have a pot, or a cauldron rather, being supported by two copper bars. So I'm just going to come up here real quick and I'll show you around. So this level is where all the rooms are. So for example, this is a lower quality room because it has a bunch of beds there. You'd have to sleep next to other people. Versus this is a higher quality room. So you have your own room here. It's very nice, bright colored walls, all that stuff. And then the tavern owner lives up there. So let's actually go into the city because I know you've been waiting. So here we have these two towers with hanging copper braziers and these huge doors. Of course, if you want to actually get into here in survival mode, your best way is just to use these small ones. So there is no grass except for some small parks in the city. Mostly it's just a mix of gravel, cobblestone, and dried coral. You can see that there are a lot of little alleyways and stuff around. But here we have Main Street. I'm just going to pop into the shops briefly. We have the waxworks. Here we can see that they are making candles. In the past, I've used these cauldrons of powdered snow for milking buckets, but here they're supposed to be buckets of basically liquid wax. Coming over here, we have the official stables. And on this side, we have the carpenter. I'm not going to pop into every shop, only some of them that are worth mentioning. So we have the grocery store here, and then on the opposite side we have the barber surgeon. So of course at the time, your barber, you can see that we're using more item frames here. Your barber would also be your surgeon because they would be the ones with the tools and the disinfectant and all that stuff. And if we come into the basement, this is where the surgery happens. And this is somewhat grim. Again, like I said, content warning. But basically, the barber is connected to the butcher. And if we exit here, we can see that this is the butcher shop. And this is a reference, of course, to the famous story, Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. You can see this place is called Fleet Street Meat. Actually, sorry, I'll take a moment here. Try not to get too ahead of myself. But we do have this large square here that acts as the center of the city. So this is essentially the main square, and then over there we have the temple square. Let me come down, and I'll show you. It is a quartz fountain surrounded by benches. And then there's a layer of glass down there, and then there's a bunch of little golden nuggets to look like people are throwing coins in the fountain. And at night it lights up because there are sea lanterns down there. I'll show you a couple more of the shops here. So we have the Boutique Arcana. This is your magic shop, and it's built on top of a little it's built on top of an amethyst geode. So I like that a lot. You can see that there's potions and there's like rabbit's foot and all sorts of weird stuff. I like magic shops because you can really let your imagination shine. If we come up here, you can see actually inside. Sorry. That's where that is. And then of course in here we also have a bookstore. And I'll show you. If you actually come in here, there are real books. So this is a reference to the end portal that's up around the Rosewood Port. And that's another baking recipe. And there's a bunch of books scattered around through my world, including this one, which lists some of the major settlements in the world. So if you want to figure out where everything is, you should go into that shop. Here we have a glass maker, because you can notice that everywhere is using glass windows, and I wanted that to be sort of diegetic. So there's a reason or a kind of way that we're realistically doing that. And before I go into the nicer part of the city, I want to show that the city is very divided. So there is a kind of slummier area here. This is inspired kind of by a lot of things, but nothing specifically. I guess the closest thing you could say is maybe Riften in Skyrim or the Bit in The Witcher 3. So these houses are really basic. They're all made out of wood, and they're made to look pretty poor. So it's not the best place to live, and there are a bunch of these things. Basically because I wanted it to feel kind of closed and cramped while still maintaining the style of the city. So we still have these kind of oak leaves and signs that are made to look like basically like hanging flowers outside people's windows. And you can see it gets pretty cramped and kind of gross back here. And there's all sorts of like these little weird alleyways. And that's very much on purpose. Like it's supposed to feel the complete opposite from like the main square. And of course, these are all detailed interiors, which is why there's so much lag around here. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to have a video upcoming soon, soonish, I don't know, on how to make your builds feel more grounded. And one important way to do that is by having duplicates. So we saw that while there was a very nice inn outside the city, there's also here a much shabbier one. Here, I'll get a torch, where you can see that there's like cobwebs and empty glass bottles and stuff. And we're going to see yet a third inn, but basically the idea being that essentially to show that it's not just like, oh, everyone in the whole city goes to like this one place. It's more like depending on your social class or your status, you might end up in different parts of the city drinking with different people. Codringer Ship Insurance. This is a reference to the Witcher books, or TV show now, I guess, because they appeared in that too. But essentially, because this is a really big sailing town, you got to get your ship's insurance. And of course, where is this? Here, I knew there was a secret. Ah, jeez. I have not been in here since like 2021, but there is a secret place here. And yeah, basically that's where you would get your ship's insurance. And you can see that right here, we are down by the docks. This is one of the entrances to the sewers, but if we come around here, you'll see that these are all the warehouses and the customs office as well. So we have warehouses that are full of things like crates and barrels and stuff. Looks like we're getting a bit of lag. As well as places that are full of wheat or places that are entirely closed off. And here we have the harbor. So this is a mix of merchant ships and fishing boats. And there is a fish market here. So most of the shops are in this kind of main street area. And then the rest of them are down here where people are selling fish and stuff. So if you want to get in and out of the city, you of course have to go through customs. And you can see that there is a tariff rate. So basically they want a lot of food into the city, so there's no tax on bringing food in. But if you're trying to bring copper into the city, there is a really big tax. Because this city is trying to basically export copper to the rest of the province. So they're trying to really dissuade people from bringing any of it in. And of course, we have the dragon banners. So the colors of the city are red and blue, and we have these kind of dragon patterns that are kind of all over the city, especially at the castle, which I will get to at the second half of this video. So we can see here we have the fish markets, and there's also things like produce stalls. This guy is just selling clothes, and we have these really big boats. I won't give you a super in-depth view of the boats because they're not actually my designs. A lot of these have been made by Lord Dacker on YouTube, who has really excellent tutorials. I'll leave a link in the comments or in the description because you should totally check him out. If you ever want to make ships, absolutely look at that guy's tutorials because they're the best. But these are some really nice ship designs, so I'll just take you on one briefly. So here we can go up and we have the steering wheel, and there's a cat here. And we can come down here. There is the captain's quarters, very small, I know. Here we have the crew quarters and also the cargo area. The cargo area is currently empty because all of their cargo is over here. So it's basically been taken off. And we also have a lighthouse. There is another lighthouse just outside the city, but this is the really big one of this world. So there's a level here that's basically like living quarters and sleeping quarters. And then if we go all the way up, we have a kind of defensive layer, another defensive layer, and then we get up here. And we have this huge kind of burning pillar surrounded by glass. And I'll show you what it looks like at night, because I think it really does look great. So if we look at it at night, you see that there's like this huge shining beacon over the city. Apologies if it's too dark. I am going to put it back to daytime. There we go. So coming off of the port now, if we come back inside of the city, we can go to the rich area. So we have to come back here. And then if we go through this alleyway, we can come to the nice district. You can see where before the alleyways were super dark and cramped, here we have like these really nice green areas. We also have like the one big temple here. So this is based off of a kind of Byzantine church design. It's pretty small, but it fits the scale. And we also have some statues here. And I'll show you, this is what the nicer houses look like. So we have a huge big fireplace, a backyard with chickens. We have closets and stuff, and we come up here. We have like multiple bedrooms with super bright, lovely colors. Because the Middle Ages are only really kind of brown and grim for lower classes. If you are among the higher classes, you're going to have a pretty good range of colors in the Middle Ages. And I really wanted to bring that out. And I guess this is as good a time as any to show you. But here is the graveyard. So we have a bunch of these kind of smaller graves, and then up here a mausoleum, tons of flowers. Here lies the founder of Newport, Lord James Spicer, rest in peace. So the kind of lordly family of Newport is called the Spicers. And I mentioned that there was another little lighthouse. That's what I'm referring to. So yeah, this is the graveyard, and I'll show you what's with that one in my next video. But we can see that the church is sticking out of the back of the town here. So let me show you inside. Oh, and this goes down to these sewers. So that's to basically let light down into that place. So inside here, we have a tiled floor with pews, a big glass chandelier with tons of light coming through. It's a really nice, bright place full of candles and stuff. We have enchantment tables on these sides, and up here we have the altar. And that's supposed to be basically the Bible. It's a nice little place, although it is very small, and there's no kind of poor church. So you kind of just have to imagine that the poor people just don't get to go to church. They probably just wait out here and hope that they hear like the sermon going on inside. Without further ado, though, I will show you. We have the Merchants Guild. This is using the bundles, which are technically in the game, but not properly instituted. The Merchant Guild has this kind of yellow banner and this yellow motif for gold. And if you saw my Anchorage video, you'll see that they have another guild hall over at that place. This is a build that I struggled a lot with. I actually tore it down like 3-4 times before rebuilding it. And I'm kind of happy with how it is now, but it's not like the best. So I have a kitchen here, like a meeting room. If we come back here, there is a map of basically half of Newport and a cartography table. Then we can go up this tower. Sorry if you are nauseous. But we have basically, this floor is full of bedrooms and stuff for people to sleep. And if we come upstairs, there is basically a treasury. So back there, there's gold and diamonds, and here you can come and basically ask to take some money out for a loan or whatever. And at the very top, you can come out here with your spyglass and take a look at the sea, basically. So that's it for the Merchants Guild Hall. I know this video is running long, but I promised that this would be a proper episode, and I don't want to basically lie about that and only give you guys half. So I will show you the castle that is in Newport. This is called Spicer Hall. So it is the end of the street. You can see that it has a small garden here with a side door. But the main door here, flanked by these two banners. And actually, I really like that sign design. I haven't done one like that in a while. But we come in here, and it is mostly taken up by this great hall. So You come in here and you have to pay homage to the Lord Spicer. And he's sitting up here on his big old wooden and woolen throne with the view of the port behind him, of course. Because it's Newport and everything's about the sea. We also have banners all throughout here and chandeliers, and there's basically a really big walkway at the top here. This is kind of based off of Dragon's Reach in Skyrim. Basically the big castle in Whiterun. So I'll take you through the rooms quickly-ish. So this part of the castle is purely defensive. It's to defend the port. If we come onto this side, this is the kitchen. So we have a little birthday cake here. And of course, a really big oven and some wooden stuff. Excuse the lag. This is the pantry with a little garden just on the side here. Growing some nice carrots. One thing you'll notice, I have never planted potatoes in this world, and I will never do that. This is where this door leads, by the way. And I'll take you downstairs. But yeah, there's no potatoes in the Middle Ages, and I refuse to ever include them. So the downstairs is a mix of a bunch of things. So, for instance, here we have a well deep into the earth, and we have a laundry room, because I always put in laundry. Whoops. Here you can see there's a little window. But yeah, I always make sure to have laundry stuff in my builds. And here we have a bathtub. So this is kind of like a hot springs, but basically you see that there's a little fire there, and you can imagine that they're putting like a pan full of hot coals in the water and heating it up so it gets nice and toasty. And there's some towels, of course. The towels are on top of barrier blocks. Over here we also have storage, so that's like the granary of the castle. There are some servant bedrooms, and this is a bit dark, literally and like metaphorically. So down here we have a dungeon, and if you can see down there, it's full of skulls and redstone. So basically this was a death pit. It's kind of like an oubliette in a real medieval castle, but it's a bit exaggerated, kind of based off Silence of the Lambs. So basically, you would throw someone down there to die, and it's kind of like a worse version of a dungeon. And here we have a small elevator if you want to go down there and clear out the bones or whatever, or like say drop down food or however you want to do things. But yeah, I really like this little elevator design. It's done with just some milling wheels and chains. And then this is a secret exit to the castle. And that also leads into the sewers, because the sewers are really tied into basically everything, which is why it needs its whole... It's why it needs its own episode, because I really can't cover it in this one. If we come upstairs, though, here we have the upstairs of this hall. And we can come up here to the defenses. So here we have, of course, a flagpole with a chain so you can lower and raise the flag. One thing I want to mention is that the city took me like absolutely ages, and if you're looking at it and you're thinking, boy, how do you do all that without getting burnt out? You don't. It took me a while, and I stopped it for a while, and I came back to it for a while, and it's basically the second thing I built in this world after Marsh Castle. So there's this really great like natural port here, and I wanted to take advantage of it and build my own city. So I spent a while leveling the ground and everything, and eventually we got Newport out of it. But it's definitely a labor of love and patience and a lot of work. Here we have the Lord's bedroom with a mirror. And I'll actually show you at the end of this episode what my stats look like for this world. We have the Lord's study, and this is the final room of the castle. So this is basically going to do for today. Before we go though, like I said, I wanted to show you my stats. So let me go back to the fountain and we can stay here for a minute. So if you actually go into the stats for this world, somewhere here, you'll see, where is this? Time played 14.83 days, which is it's a lot of hours. If you multiply 14 by 24, you'll get how many hours that is. But suffice to say, it is a lot. So if you want to give me guys a little bit of love, if you want to give me a little bit of love, you guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and stick around for next time. And either later today or in the coming days, I'll try and release that sewer video that I've been promising you. That is going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and stick around for next time. See ya.